Hey everybody, welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. And in today's episode, I'm chatting with my friend ONeil. Hey ONeil.
Hello, Erika. Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. As you can see,
Yeah,
I'm in my car. I'm in a parking lot because, we will be talking about some real stuff and I don't want any eavesdroppers in the household coming in. So, I thought it'd be a good idea to come out here and, get stuff off my chest. You know what I mean?
right. Get the privacy. I feel like
hmm
that's one of the hardest parts of living at home is that sometimes you don't get that privacy.
Yeah, for sure. So I do the cooking on the side, as I'm sure you and a few other people listening know. And it's really hard because, I live with my parents and sometimes they want to cook stuff and I want to cook stuff and the stuff I cook, they might not want to try. So that's like, okay, I got to make a small portion, but I still need the kitchen and I got to work against their schedule and my own work schedule. And it's a mess sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, I bet. ONeil, before we get started into the topic, could you also share a bit about yourself? Because I know you're already sharing that you're a chef, Chef ONeil.
I wouldn't say chef. I don't like I don't like to compare myself to other chefs and I feel like a lot of people that like do casual cooking on the side don't like considering themselves chefs because it's like you're not. I put chefs on like a pedestal, so to speak, and like they're like professionals. They do this stuff day in day out. Which is me. I just fuck around in the kitchen a little bit with some food and post on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do like to cook. I will say that I like to cook a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I'm big in video editing for the past about a year now since quarantine started. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
about a year I've been big on video editing. I video edit for this super small, people might not know about it, this little super small charity. Me and a couple friends, a little fundraiser. Me and my friends run called Locals Fest. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I did a little video editing for them and my own stuff. And other than that, I read, play video games, hang out with friends. Well, not now, but you know what I
I
mean.
know, yeah, trust. Like more online stuff now. Like hanging
Yeah,
out
definitely
online.
more Zoom calls with hey, how you doing? All that stuff.
Right? Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks, ONeil.
Yeah, hey,
Um,
no problem.
I guess a little bit of like a backstory of how we know each other, but we both used to actually we never really knew each other in high school. We were ONeil and I were going
No,
through this, like how we even know each other, but we knew each other in high school, but not really. And then
we
we
knew of each other's existence in high school, but
heard,
so
yes.
yeah, back to when my high school days. If anyone knows me from Bishop Redding, BR and Milton, I didn't talk to no one. I just got to Milton from Mississauga. I didn't know anyone. Yeah, I had a couple friends here and there, but I mostly kept to myself, kind of quiet. So like people might be like, "Oh, ONeil? Yeah, I think he went to BR." I don't know actually. So like I didn't really talk to anyone. I really remember much people from BR all that much, but yeah, you said that you did go to BR at the time, so that's how we kind of like were in the same
Yeah.
area, I guess, you know?
And I feel like we had similar friends, like common friend groups, and then that's
hmm
kind of how we connected.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
so after high school where I started connecting with some of more your friends and family, I guess, through working at the
True.
Toronto Premium Outlets at Guess and
Oh
other places.
yeah, I almost
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah.
That was like the big connection there,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes,
yeah.
yes. And then also Metro too, because a lot of my really good friends work at Metro, and I think you worked there.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I worked
yeah.
there for a while. That's kind of where I kind of started opening up a little bit. As I said
Mhm.
before, I was like kind of quiet in VR. But
Yeah.
when I started working more like front facing customer service ish jobs, I kind of like, learned to talk more, learned to be more open. Because before, I'm telling you, you know me now, but I was quiet, I was shy, I didn't talk to anyone like 10
Wow.
years ago. I'm
That's
like that serious.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like the person you are now, it's like it feels to me that you're comfortable in your own skin or like
hmm
yeah, that's how I see it.
100%.
Yeah. Cool. I guess so going off of that background story, our topic today is job hunting, and I feel like you and we both connected on like we would be messaging each other about job hunting all the time and be like, yo, if I ever hear anything about videography opportunities, like I'll let you know for sure. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I guess could you kind of share about your experience so far in job hunting when after like high school and all that stuff with post-secondary or something?
So after high school, I went to college. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into any of the universities I wanted to go to. My grades were not very good in high school. So I ended up going to college, but I did want to pursue something legal. So, and I heard about this college course for paralegal, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I think I can look into that. And I had taken a couple law classes from high school, and I'm gonna tell you the big reason why I was interested in law. And I don't think I've told a lot of people this. So it's like a big thing. It's a little bit embarrassing, but so it was from a video game that I used to play on Nintendo DS called Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Uh-huh.
And you're literally a lawyer in this video game, and you solve mysteries on like looking at like evidence, all this stuff, and like kind of piqued my interest in court. And I started like, looking into what actual court is like, and that gave me more interest. And I started looking at courses and all that stuff. And yeah, that's how it got me into the Seneca College paralegal program.
Oh, very nice. No, I mean, I feel like whatever you do in your childhood, it carries on to you as like now. It's kind of funny that that video game like made you want to get into paralegal stuff.
Yeah, who would have thought? All because of a small little video game.
That's so jokes. And then and then you started working into that paralegal place that you're at after college then?
Yeah, so after college, I started working at I was still kind of trying to get out of like the retail premium outlets industry, because I was like jumping between stores there, Kate Spade, Watch Station, all those other stores.
Oh, no way.
And yeah, I was trying to like kind of like, okay, I gotta start getting work in my like field, like start getting work in like stuff I studied for. Yeah. So I saw a good transition path to work at the courthouse as a court clerk. So I don't know if you know how like a courtroom is set up and stuff, but like you have the judge, and you have in front of the judge, you have like a few people that are like in black robes that like kind of are computer typing or like, doing other crap. Oh, okay. I was that person kind of like doing the admin stuff in real time in court. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I met some lawyers. Obviously, you meet lawyers like day in, day out at that job. And one of them was like, hey, we're hiring for a legal assistant at our firm. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, man, you crazy? So I don't know if I should say, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the place. I'll just keep that under wraps. But I took the job at insert law firm here, insert law place. And I was working there as a legal assistant from late November of 2019 all the way up until March of 2020. Big time March, April, events happening, and big time jobs being lost left, right, and center. So I didn't lose the job immediately, but I was sent home to work from home for a bit. Right. Then a month into that, they were like, okay, we gotta let some people go temporarily. We'll let you know what goes on in August. August comes around. Yeah, we gotta let you go. And I understood, it's happening everywhere, all over the world, honestly. I can't even say just here. Right. And it sucks, but it is what it is. So I was like, I'm not gonna let this bum me out. I'm just gonna hop on the job hunting train and start looking at that. And I hopped on LinkedIn, started looking at jobs, met you through that, started talking about like, hey, if we see work for each other, we'll let each other know, all that stuff. And yeah, I'm kind of still doing that. Still looking for work. Right. Almost a year later, yeah.
I know. I mean, like as you said, with everything going on right now, like it's almost, I think it's been a year since we've had COVID around already, because it happened in like sometime in February was happening, right? And then we had the lockdown happened in March. But
yeah,
it's kind of crazy because a lot of people are saying like the job market right now and the economy is just really messed up. So, but it's cool because right now you do have something going on, right?
Yes, thankfully. So, yeah. So my girlfriend works at a hospital. I won't see which one, because anyways. My girlfriend works at a hospital, and she got me a job at this hospital, and I've been working at this hospital for the past, I want to say since September. So what is that? 4 months?
6 months?
6 months, something like that. It was like end of September-ish. So yeah, 4 or 5 months. I've been working there for a bit. It doesn't pay as much as my old job did. Right. So it's kind of difficult covering bills because I have a car I got to worry about, insurance, phone bills, all this other stuff, helping out with bills at home with my parents and stuff, because I had already established that I'm going to help pay this bill and this bill. And I can't really, I don't like not being able to help out where I can, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it was tough, but I'm learning ways to like kind of like save my money here and there. and make it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
But for the time being, I'm working at this hospital job, and I still am looking for work, hopefully back in an administrative or legal space to hopefully get back into my industry. And
yeah.
Yeah.
So Neil, when you were saying that you were working job to job when you were working at the premium outlet, how was that like for you, realizing that, oh shoot, like I need to go into my field and like I can't be doing this because it's like I went to school for a reason kind of thing? Can you kind of chat a bit more about that?
Yeah. So when I was working at the malls and stuff, they were like all new jobs for me because beforehand I was working at Metro, and like I dealt with customers, but not to the extent of like a clothing retail job, obviously, right? So it was a big jump for me. At the time I was still in school, like almost done school basically. And I think I graduated around the time I was still at Guess. And after that, I was like, okay, now's the time to start looking for work in my field. And my goal was like courthouse from like the get, basically. Like once I graduate, I'm gonna get a job at a courthouse, and that'll give me connections into like a law firm or whatever. And getting into the courts is like really, really hard. I had to do a lot of connections. I had to do a lot of resumes. I had to like talk to a lot of people that already work in the courthouse, because at the time I was volunteering at the courthouse in Brampton with this victim services appeal, like domestic abuse, assault, all that stuff. They kind of deal with all that stuff in the Peel region. And I had to use the connections there to talk to some of the staff. They're like, hi, how'd you get this job? Hey, what kind of resume do you have? Hey, can I like look over your resume, kind of like know what to look out for when like know what employers look out for and stuff like that. So it was a lot of that and resume building over and over and over. And it was really hard because, you know, it's not easy trying to get into this kind of area of work with no experience, right? They want you to have some sort of court experience, legal experience, stuff like that. And I'm just coming off of nothing but retail experience, right? So it's kind of hard to like, you know, transition into work like that. But I did lean heavily on my volunteer work. And the fact that like I have years of this volunteer work that I did for free, maybe it'll transition and make people think, oh, this guy's doing all this for free. Imagine what he'd do if he got paid, type thing, right? So thankfully that helped a lot. But during the time when I was looking, it wasn't getting replies back or wasn't knowing where to look for work. It was really difficult. That on top of the fact that obviously parents like to look out for what's best with their children and stuff. So they want to be like, I know you work at Guess and stuff, but are you looking for jobs? I'm like, yes, of course I'm looking for a job. I'm not sitting here not looking for a job, right? And that's just kind of like another pressure kind of thing where it's like, okay, I already have so much going on. I don't need you on, but at the same time, you know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I had two questions I wanted to ask you, but I know we wanted to get into talking about the pressures that come along with job hunting. So definitely parental pressure is something that everyone, I feel like, goes through while living at home, especially. And also I think pressure from yourself and pressure from like the people around you who are in like getting jobs, and you're seeing them getting this or getting a house and being successful and doing this, getting engaged and stuff, you know, and you're like, you kind of do that whole comparison game where you're like, oh damn, well, like look at where I'm, like, oh, this is where I am and that's where they are. I don't know if you go through that as well, but
I 100% went through that. It was to the point where, so this was like around late last year. It was just before I started working at the hospital, and all this pressure from my parents to try to get a job, and I'm falling behind on bills. CERB isn't coming through as quickly as it should, or at all sometimes. So like my bills are piling up. Pressure on myself because I beat myself up a lot. You know, I like to strive to like be the best I can be at what I do, and if I'm not, then I kind of like I said, I beat myself up a lot about it, which is very unhealthy to do, by the way. And it came to the point where, yeah, I had, you know, I could confide in like my girlfriend, for example, or other friends, for example, but at the same time, it's still me, you know, it's still me criticizing myself. And seeing other people that didn't lose their jobs, moving up, getting new houses, doing all this stuff and stuff, it got to me. People close to my life doing this kind of stuff, it got to me to the point where like I was having like probably little breakdowns here and there, like couple times a week at that time.
Oh man.
You know, I just kind of locked myself away and like legit crying, kind of like, why is this happening to me? This is so tough, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend and her friends, they suggested maybe you should look into some mental health counseling, right? It might help you like, you know, get your head back on straight and like kind of, you know, stop beating yourself up a lot. So I looked into that. I found a few numbers. It's been so long since I'd last contacted them. So I don't really remember the organization or the number off the top. I think it was Kids Help Phone actually.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly,
yeah. I'll link it.
Adults too. Yeah, but
Wow, yeah.
Kids Help Phone was one of the people that, because it was like a hotline, pick up whenever and they'll start talking to you, right?
Right.
So I gave them a call. First of all, I was like, hey, I'm 26. Is this okay, right? Like, I know it's like kind of weird. Like, I'm not really a kid. They're like, nope, we help everyone. I'm like, okay, cool.
Wow, yeah.
About like everything I was going through. Obviously, I'm sure they were getting calls left and right about people losing their jobs and stress associated with that. So like, I don't think my situation was anything new. But I was talking about this kind of stuff. I would talk about like parental pressures. I was talking about my own pressures, beating myself up, and they really got me to do like some, you know, inward thinking and some more sympathy for myself, and you know, being empathetic with my situation and not really being so hard on myself about things I can't control. Obviously, right? Trying to just do your best and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out, then try to switch it up or try to, you know, do something else. But don't start blaming yourself for stuff you can't control. Don't start blaming yourself for stuff that you had no idea was going to happen in the first place. No one knew quarantine was going to happen. No one knew people that lost their job were going to lose their jobs. Literally, no one knew this, unless there's some deep secret, deep state Illuminati BS. But no one knew, right?
Exactly.
So, it was really, really helpful, the what they did for me. And you know, coming out of it now, I'm obviously in the same job, but like I have a lot better outlook on the future and what's going to happen with work and just the pandemic in general. You know, I'm trying not to like let the doom and gloom from the news get to me, or doom and gloom from my parents or other people in my life get to me, put the pressure on me and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So having them to call, having people like my girlfriend and my other close friends to confide in, it really helped a lot with my mental health. And yeah, last year was bad, but you know, this new year, as bad as 2020 was, and people saying 2021 is the year, I'm trying to take that in and be like, yeah, as bad as it can be, this should be the year. I should be positive. I should try to stay positive best I can and try to kind of focus on the good more than the bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Dang, thank you so much for sharing that, ONeil.
Yeah, no problem.
I feel like I don't have a lot of guys on my podcast that talk about their mental health, and I really appreciate you telling us about it, because like at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all going through this shit, and we really we just need that support and need to know that we're not alone and that other people are going through it as well. But yeah, that's awesome to know that the Kids Help Phone is a resource.
There are a couple other resources I can't name off the top of my head. I'll probably send them to you afterwards. You can just link them in the bio or whatever. But yeah, they really did help a lot. It was great. Mental health is to go off of like the whole not having a lot of guys here.
Yeah.
Or I guess more so not really going off of like the fact that people don't want to talk about mental health all that much, especially with guys. Yeah. It's a really, really, really important thing. You know, I know a couple of friends that have recently looked towards counseling and stuff, and they said, oh my God, it's life-changing. I feel so much better about my life. I'm not stressing out as much as I used to. It's such a big thing. Worrying about your mental health it's your body. Same way people work out, same way people eat a certain way. People say you got to think about that. That's your head at the same time. You got to treat your head like your body. If you're taking care of your body but not taking care of your head, you're killing yourself essentially. Yeah, you might have this perfect physique and eat like, you know, amazing food, but if you're stressing out and your mental health isn't there, then you know you're not helping yourself at all.
100%. Yeah, I definitely agree, and I also think it's with like, I guess if you were to say males versus and females and stuff, that there's that stigma with men and like showing their emotions, or men and crying and stuff. Would you say that you agree, or you feel like you can't express yourself in certain situations because you're like, nah, I'm a guy, like I'm strong kind of thing? Or
I think sorry, I cut you off.
No, go for it. No, go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, honestly, I think I had that kind of mindset maybe like back like late high school, maybe early college, maybe.
Yeah.
where like I was really self-conscious and really not I was really scared to like kind of express myself because of being judged by other people and stuff like that. So I kind of took
Yeah.
on the mentality of like a guy should be quiet, a guy should be tough. Like, yeah, a guy can be these things, but they can be other things too. I was really scared to express myself, and like you shouldn't be scared to express yourself. You can be tough and quiet, but at the same time, you can be, kind of out there, kind of, open about your emotions and your feelings and what you're going through and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that kind of stuff actually helped me with, dating and stuff like that. If, dating the opposite gender, for me specifically, dating girls and them knowing that like, oh, this guy's just not a brick wall. I can talk to this guy, I can
That's
open
so
up to this
true.
guy. It helps a lot. One of the big reasons I'd say this is a big reason and kind of like a good pillar. And when me and my girlfriend started dating, and this ties back to Erica, I don't know if I told you this. So when me and my girlfriend started dating, we started talking,
Yeah.
we were hanging out here and there, and I talked about, I'm like, oh yeah, I have this friend, her name's Erika. She published a book recently. Would you like to read it with me? And she's like, oh yeah, that'd be good, right? So we
Yeah.
sat down, we were just reading the book back and forth, chapter for chapter. And like it was like kind of opening up about ourselves and our lives going off of what was going on in the book and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'd say Erika played a significant role in the beginning of
Yo.
our relationship.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. Man,
Yeah,
that must have
definitely
been
like a good,
hard to read that with each other. At
it
like
was,
some things.
yeah, because I didn't read the book before. Obviously, she didn't read
Yeah.
the book either. So like we
Yeah.
opened the book and like it got real sometimes, but like it kind of
Yeah.
helped us like get more comfortable with each other quickly. You know
Right,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
So I'd say like yeah, reading that book and like bonding over it was like kind of like it's definitely a good memory at the beginning of our relationship that we'll remember for a really long
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm so happy to be part of it. What the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
For those who are listening who don't know what the book is about, I do talk about topics of like suicide and depression, and there's some sexual assault, some subtle racism in there as well. So, but also just like growing up as a female, I guess, like getting your pap smear and all that awkward, weird stuff,
Mhm.
or getting STDs. So all of that good growing up is all in there.
Yeah, the good, the
Yeah.
bad, and everything in the middle. It's real.
Yeah, for
It's real.
sure.
That's the big thing. It's just real.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
remember you reaching out to me though after you read the book, and you're just like, yo, thanks for writing this and stuff.
It's a really good book. If I'm sure most of the people listening have read the book or at least own the book, but if you haven't, please check out this book out.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
sick. It's a sick.
thanks,
It's a really
O'Neill.
good read. It's real.
Appreciate it.
You gotta be ready for real, but it's real.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
man.
so
Self
funny.
plug on your own podcast. No
I know.
problem.
Sometimes it makes me cringe. Or just like, oh, like even though you accomplish certain things, I feel like it just like makes me like, oh no, I don't want to talk about it. And like you kind of, well, to me, I like shrink myself, and I'm like, yeah, like I did that, but it's okay. Like, don't need to talk about it.
No,
Um,
it's a big deal.
yeah.
You should be proud that you did what you did. Don't belittle yourself on that stuff. It's big.
Thanks,
Good accomplishment.
O'Neill.
Yeah, no problem.
So O'Neill, both of our parents, like we both come from an immigrant parent household, and can you kind of talk about the pressures that you get from that? That makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, your parents they look out for the best for you and
Yeah.
all that, and they want you to like be better than what we were growing up and stuff. My parents came from Jamaica. They both came from like they didn't grow up in the city. They grew up in like the country area, rural areas of Jamaica, where they owned a farm, animals,
Yeah.
livestock are animals, livestock, agriculture, all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then eventually they came to Canada and they want a better life than what they'd had back in Jamaica when they were growing up. And they want a better life for their children. They don't want their children to go through the struggles that they went through growing up and stuff like that, right? So, and that's good. That's normal for anyone coming from, a country that's not considered westernized.
Yeah.
It's not like any country outside of like England, Australia, United States, Canada, more popular Western countries. Life is usually harder in those other countries, right? That's why people come to these countries, come to these Western countries to have a better life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like there's more pressure because it's like, I don't want you falling between the cracks. I don't want you struggling with what I struggle through. And the pressure's there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the comparisons are there too, because they see other kids doing well, and then it's like, why isn't my kid doing that well? All stuff like that. It used to happen a lot with me personally. My parents would like, you see segments on talk shows in the news about like some genius prodigy kid at some bumfuck town in the United States that's able to like freaking split atoms when they're like 2 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't my kid be like that? And I'm like, that's like, I can't, like, I can't. It's
Yeah.
all luck. That's the biggest thing I feel like with immigrant parents, or like most parents in general, is they don't recognize luck in a lot of things. They don't recognize that like people have certain opportunities. Yeah, being from Canada doesn't guarantee you anything. Being from the westernized country doesn't guarantee you a certain lifestyle. A lot of luck is still rolled into that. It might help to a certain extent, yeah, for sure, 100%. But it's still luck. It's still getting lucky to land an interview. It's still lucky to go to this school, to have this teacher that cares about you and pushes you to a certain extent for your grades and stuff like that. Some people aren't as lucky. Some people aren't able to get that job. Some people get bad teachers. Some people's grades slip. There's a lot of different factors, and you can't say just because you're in a westernized country growing up in an affluent household or like a better off house than other people. You still got to do a lot of work, and there's still a lot of luck involved in that work. And I feel like a lot of parents don't understand that. They think, oh, I did so much, now it has to work. Now there's a 100% chance that it won't work. And it's like, no, there's still a lot other things that could bar me or stop me or slow me down.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with me, just luck.
Exactly. I think it's so interesting that you're talking about luck in a lot of these situations, because it's 100% true. Like, you can work so hard at something, you can work so hard at doing your resume, your interview, you do as much as you can to get into whatever industry or whatever job you want to get into. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's like, oh, it's this person who gets it because he has that connection with this person. And like, you just, like, you weren't lucky in that way. But I also think about my friends who also have immigrant parents, and that no matter how hard we work, if you're not a certain occupation, then you're not considered successful. And as someone in like the creative industries, when I talk about like my old job, it used to be a bunch of Filipinos, and they would ask, oh, what do you do? And I would say communications, because that's the simplest term to define my field. And they would say, oh, so you like to talk a lot, eh? Or like, oh, so radio or
they
TV.
don't see communications as like a profession. They just see it as like a side hobby or like
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's that difference. And then also, if you're not for them to see me as successful in communications is to me being like a TV broadcaster or something. Like, if I work for a small startup company and I'm like doing sick things that I think is cool, they don't see it in the same success lens as myself. Right. So.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. My parents are like, it's just a certain extent. I'm sure they would have been extremely happy if I went to school and became a doctor or a lawyer or, I don't know, rocket scientist or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could try to become those things, but at the same time, it's like, if I don't have an interest in it, and I won't be able to put 100% into it, and I'm just wasting my time and my money and like pursuing something I'm not serious about.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, and again, luck. I like to think of the whole luck thing as, okay, so this happens a lot with marketing, with companies that approach people with marketing. So think of, you have a video idea, you make a video, you post it on YouTube. It gets like 2,000 views, and it's stagnant. It doesn't grow from there. Someone sees your video, screen records it, word for word, picture for picture, the exact same video, posts it on YouTube again, like a week later, it hits 2 million views. It goes viral. Like, it's stuff like that. It's luck. It's all luck. Like, yeah, put the skill in, put the work in, do whatever you can, but at the same time, you just have to keep your fingers crossed and pray, because it's going to be luck at the end of the day.
Yeah, I get that. Like, some YouTubers, they're like, well, why did I try to do the same thing and they get more views than I did, kind of thing. And it's like the algorithm, it just picks up on random things and people are still trying to figure it
totally
out.
Random.
Yeah.
It's really annoying when companies come to people and they're like, I need about 3 viral videos a month. I'm like, I can't make a viral video, man. It's not up to me. It's up to the
Yeah.
algorithm. It's up
Yeah,
to
it's so
God. It's
true.
at this point, like I can't control it.
Yeah, like you can only do so much of doing it like SEOs and trying to figure out what the algorithm is, like post at a certain
Yeah,
time type of thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah,
it's
up to
not up to me, man.
YouTube. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
YouTube. It's literally on YouTube.
sure.
Yeah.
ONeil, my last question, going back into working, I guess, in like the law firm industry or any of your other jobs, do you ever feel like you were hired because they wanted to reach a certain, see themselves as a diverse company or meet certain diversity standards, I guess you could say?
Yeah, 100%. I've worked at a few places where the employees around me were like a vast majority of them were white. No, like no minorities whatsoever. And then I come in,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I might be good at this job, but is that why I was hired for my skill, or am I hired to reach a certain percentage? Because the whole thing with companies, big companies specifically, they don't want their diversity quotas or their diversity percentages to be out in the public, and then the media sees that the media sees this and assumes that they actively try to avoid hiring people of color or people or minorities,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk bad about the company sales go down, whatever the consequences are. And so I feel like they go out of their way to hire certain people to hit a certain quota, and sometimes I felt like that,
Yeah.
and there's a certain comforting working in a place knowing that, oh, there's another Jamaican person here, or there's another black person in general here, It's not
Yeah.
just I'm the sole black person here, I'm the sole minority here.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I get uncomfortable to the point where like I feel like all eyes are on me, all people are like looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might come to me with questions, being like, "Oh, you make really good jerk chicken, I bet." I'll be like, "Haha, yeah, whatever, right?"
What?
Yeah, but like
ONeil?
I try to brush stuff like that off because I'm thinking it's coming from a place of ignorance. It's coming from
Yeah.
a place of I don't really know much about this culture. This is my only source of information.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it comes from a place of kind of rude. Like,
Y-
okay, I know you assume sometimes I don't even say I'm Jamaican, but in the GTA, when you see a black person, like a good chance they're probably from the Caribbean. A good chance. So when people come up to me and say stuff like that, I try to brush it off. At the same time, back in my head, I'm like, yeah, no, like screw that, fuck this guy, or
Right.
whatever, like that,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Where like I shouldn't have to come to a professional company and deal with stuff like that
True.
because
Honestly.
it's unnecessary. You shouldn't be. I like why am I the person that has to represent everyone? Because I'm the sole hire here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like hire people for their skills
Mm-hmm.
more so than trying to hit a quota. And if your numbers come out and it seems that, oh, you're not hiring a lot of minorities, be like, okay, we hire off skill. We don't just be honest about it. I'm talking to
Exactly.
companies out there. Be honest about it. Tell them
Yeah.
we hire for skill. If that comes to a certain area, and you know it's better you're honest and say that you hire a skill versus say that you're pandering and want to be inclusive. You know
Yeah.
how it's been the past
Diverse.
year with
Yeah.
big companies and BLM protests, and
Yeah.
we stand with our black brothers and sisters. Well, no, you don't, man. You're just trying to look good for media. You don't give two shits, man. Because
Right.
2 months, 3 months from now, and I called it from the beginning. From the beginning, these protests were happening, and it was getting traction online, and people were talking about it. I was like, good. There's conversation going on. People understand what people go through. But at the same time, like, fast forward 6 months from now, 8 months from now, people won't give two shits. It's gonna go back to regular programming at this point. It sucks, but that's how life is.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I have a lot of comments to say about what you just said, but thank you so much for bringing it up, ONeil. And I feel like before the protests were happening in June, like that wasn't just the first time it happened. Obviously, there was
No,
like times before that and before that, and it's like every single time it happens, then people are like, oh shit, oh yeah, like they wake up and then they realize it, and then it kind of goes away and simmers down again, and then it comes back up because something big is happening. It's like it's just such a reoccurring problem, and people just need to realize that it's not going away, and they need to like,
it's not.
man. it's such a big problem, and I feel like we're still trying to find not a solution, but I don't know what better word to
Understanding, some
say.
empathy,
Yeah.
just to understand what's going on. When people get mad about stuff like, oh, affirmative action, that's not fair. How come Black people are being selected to go to colleges? It's like, bro, think about it. Or I had a conversation with an old friend. I can't even call this person my friend anymore. I'm not going to say who they are, but they've been going down a route that's political route about like anti Black Lives Matter, anti this, anti that, right? And trying to make it sound like Black people aren't suffering as bad as they say they are. And oh, slavery ended like 100 years ago, man. Like what? Like blah 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 blah. Why are people still getting mad about that? I'm like, bro, think about it. You're playing a game, and you're 100 points back in the game. It's gonna take some time to catch up, right? Yeah, it happened a while ago, but we're still trying to catch up. And then stuff with affirmative action and stuff is like the ref saying, okay, he's a couple points, and then the person in the lead is like, wait, no, that's not fair, blah 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 blah. You know, like it's dumb shit like that. It's annoying, but again, like you said, we need it. This kind of stuff has to happen for conversations to happen, so people understand like this is what's happening around you.
Agreed.
You know, you might not like it, but hey, we don't like it either. You know?
Yeah. Oh man. But also going back to going to a workplace and just seeing everyone there is white is something that I've experienced as well. Or just realizing right now, when we were talking about it earlier, that everyone that I've gotten interviewed by was white. And it's like, or when you're in, I actually get hired and I'm in that place and then I look around and there's no one around there that looks like you, and it makes you kind of feel uncomfortable, or you don't want to say much because I don't know, you just feel like this is not your place when you fully have the right to have a place there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You should feel comfortable at a place you work at. You shouldn't have to deal with people asking you dumb questions or looking at you weird or treating you a certain way just because of the way you look. It's not fair.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Heavy topic,
Went off on a bit of
man.
a tangent
I
there,
know, but it's hard. Like, it's hard not to. I feel like, especially with podcasts, like, yeah, ONeil and I had this direction and we had like a couple of prompts to go off of, but when you get into the podcast or you get into a conversation and it's really good, it's like you can't help but voice what you want to say.
The thing with my friend too, it happened recently too, so it was just on my mind.
Thank you so much, ONeil, for being a guest on the podcast. I appreciate you. Like, I'm so happy that we reconnected. I feel like I told this to you maybe in like December or something like that, that I'm so happy that we reconnected and we were able to like kind of be close friends now at this point. And
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, for real. Thank you for voicing about everything that we talked about in this podcast. I feel like the things we said were really important, and a lot of people who are also have immigrant parents can definitely relate into some capacity as well. But would you be able to share some of your plug or like your creative projects with us and how to connect with you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I have my Instagram page, ONeil Murphs, ONeil MURPHS. I do cooking, I do video editing. I combine the two and make little cooking music video type little things. This is a small thing I do. Honestly, if I'm gonna plug anything, I'm gonna plug Speak Up Erika. I'm gonna plug Locals Festival. I'm gonna plug things you need to check out. Locals Festival, we're an online fundraising organization through Instagram Live. We raise funds for a bunch of charities around North America. Please come check us out if you're able to. Check out Erika's page, check out Erika's podcast, check out Erika's book if you haven't. I'm plugging your stuff. My stuff's If you like cooking, you come check me out, whatever. But honestly, come check this stuff out. Erika's doing big stuff. You gotta hop on the train before it leaves the station. Oh my god.
Thanks, ONeil. I'm here like
try to string like
no melting. But no, like ONeil, you have to cook me some food and like let me buy it, because I keep watching your shit on social media and like just seeing all the good stuff you make. I'm like, bro, like when can I try this food already?
I'm literally filming something right now. Like I paused to let some stuff season.
Oh shit!
And I came on like, hey, let me record this and I'll go back and finish up.
Oh man. But yeah, thank you so much, ONeil, and thank you to everyone who's listening to the podcast. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye.